What's going on, people? Yeah, I don't know.
No, we need to start again.
No, now we're starting it again. Oh man, it's just kind of awkward, you know. It's for the first time ever I'm hosting a dual commentary video. This person to the right of me is my good buddy Chad Williams. You guys might have known him as Namor9196. I think a couple of you guys did. And in the background, you're going to hear a lot of random ranting from this kid, Trent Williams. A lot of you guys have heard of my videos.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, so occasionally he'll chime in. And so what the purpose of this video, what we're doing today is, you know, Chad is a big comic book, fan. And me and myself and I'm not really a big comic book fan, as a lot of you guys know, but as far as the things that I do enjoy, I'd have to say the two out of the entire universe of both Marvel and DC, Spider-Man and X-Men for the most part, which is what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to be discussing our thoughts on the upcoming movies for Marvel and DC. Not really going to extend on all of them, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be focusing on three in particular, and that is X-Men First Class, the Green Lantern, and the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man reboot coming out with Andrew Garfield. Today, what we're going to talk about first is the Amazing Spider-Man reboot, because I think that's the one that has the least amount of information. So, overall, Chad, what did you think about the idea of the series being rebooted?
You know, I liked it because I feel that they kind of messed things up for the original trilogy with the third movie. So I feel that's going to be a good thing for them to get a fresh start. And what Marvel did back in 2008 with the release of Iron Man 1, they made the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where all the movies were directly produced by Marvel Studios, and thus all the movies could be related to each other. So you might see like cameos from other superheroes in each individual movie. So that's how you have like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America culminating into the Avengers.
Is that why they wanted to rebuy a lot of the old licenses? Like, they're trying to get the X-Men license back from Fox? Is that why?
Yeah, that's exactly why. So that they could pretty much merge the Marvel Cinematic Universe into one, and they don't have to worry about licenses, so that they don't have access to a hero that they want to put a cameo in another movie.
Because I remember they were going on about it, like they really just wanted to get X-Men back so they can reboot the entire thing.
Yeah, and that's usually why they're doing all these reboots, so that they could be established not from the identity that they had before.
Yeah, from the original. Yeah.
That's why they're making all these reboots.
Yeah.
If anybody was wondering.
So, overall, did you welcome the idea of the reboot? Did you think it was a good thing?
I thought it was a pretty good thing, yeah. I was looking forward to it. Andrew Garfield, I had never really heard of him, but
yeah, I never did either. I don't know the particular, but the one that he got the most attention was Social Network, the Facebook movie.
Oh yeah.
He played the guy opposite Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he was the guy that was trying to do the lawsuit.
Yeah. I thought he was good. He could handle drama in that. And you guys know what I think about the reboot. I think it's a good idea. The Spider-Man franchise, in my opinion, it's one of the more truer to the comics, but still retains a good movie. Like, people have criticized Watchmen for being too close to the comic, like, you know, being a 3.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
That honestly there was no life to it. But the thing is, if you say there's no life to the movie, then there's no life to the comic.
Yeah.
Because it is word for word verbatim, except for the final scene. Which, well, that's another video for another day. But as far as the Amazing Spider-Man goes, there's really nothing to complain about from what's been information that's given so far. I mean, the cast so far is great. They have Gwen Stacy in there.
See, now I think that that's a really good thing, because when you look at the comics, Gwen Stacy was Peter Parker's first girlfriend.
Yeah.
And in the original trilogy, they kind of introduced her at the end, but that kind of screwed up the continuity.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Because you already had Mary Jane, so she kind of seemed forced in there.
I think it was fan source, and I think Raimi, I don't know if he wanted to put it in there, but Spider-Man 3, I still thought it was a decent movie. I don't think it's the worst Marvel movie, but there was just too many things going on in it. I mean, they tried to fit in Sandman, New Goblin, Mary Jane, the black suit, Venom, and all that stuff, and really,
it was too much for you to concentrate on one thing.
Yeah.
That's why the movie seemed to fall flat.
There was a lot of subplots going on that really just didn't make sense, and Sandman killing Uncle Ben.
Yeah. That was weird. That was just rushed and sloppy. That was sloppy.
It was, and emo Peter, You know, that
all
was
that
great.
finger popping. Hey,
Hey! And all the girls are like,
what is this guy doing?
Actually, did they confirm the actual villain yet?
It's widely known to be the Lizard.
Oh, okay.
Because you saw a picture with the guy who's playing Kirk Connors.
Mm-hmm.
He had a green screen like glove over his hand, which leads people to believe that they're going to do some digital effects to have it all scaly and green and everything. So it's most likely going to be Kirk Connors, the Lizard.
That's cool. And is Peter Parker going to be in high school or is he going to college? Because Andrew Garfield, he's nearing 30 years old. He's like 27. So, you know, he was in the same situation as Tobey Maguire, but Spider-Man was a series that started out with Peter in high school. And the funny thing was that with Spider-Man, the name, it was like a joke because he was a kid, but he was in a man's shoes. You know, that's why they said Spider-Man, not Spider-Teen, not Spider-Boy, but Spider-Man.
Actually, they are going to keep him in high school, in fact, and they're actually going to try to concentrate on him being in high school, like the initial comics of the 60s and 70s, before they worry about him moving on to college. See, in the first trilogy, he moved on to college, like within the second movie, like end of the first movie, and the second movie. But I feel that was kind of too rushed, so they're going to fix that.
That's
He's going to stay in high school.
I heard it's going to be more of like an origin story. It's like they don't really want to, they're going to have a main villain, but he's not going to be the main focus. It's going to be about Peter Parker, because Spider-Man is part drama, right?
Yeah. This movie is going to be about Peter Parker emerging as Spider-Man. So yes, there's going to be a villain. Of course, there has to be a villain. Yeah, and it's going to be a major focus, but another major focus is just this teenager, Peter Parker, becoming Spider-Man.
And living with this identity, you know. Big responsibility. I think the Raimi films did capture, with great power comes great responsibility, especially in the second film where Peter, he couldn't have a normal life as much as he wanted to. He wanted to be normal, but Spider-Man, you gotta do what you gotta do when you have these powers.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 was actually one of the best original Marvel movies.
It was.
The movies that came out before 2008, I think that was one of the best.
It definitely was, and it's like, you see, like, the critic opinion for the first one was like 80-ish, and then like it's jumped to 95% with the second one. I'm like, wow. But overall, it was good.
Costume up a little, if you notice. Yeah. They kind of go, if anybody's familiar with comics, Ben Reilly, I think it was like in the 80s and 90s, it was this whole identity crisis where he had this blonde clone, and his costume was just a bit different, like there was more blue in the arms and hands and everything.
But I thought that the first the one they had in the first 3 movies was actually pretty good.
Yeah, well, the one that they had in the first 3 movies was really a direct comic to silver screen translation, so that was good. But I think this new thing that they're trying out is going to be good too.
Yeah, and it's a reboot. It's like you want something new. You don't want the original suit.
Yeah, you don't want them to show you the same movie.
Yeah, it's like when it first came out, people were saying that this was going to follow the majority of the Ultimate, but the Ultimate is what Raimi based the first 2 movies, like Mary Jane's the first love interest, and then it's Green Goblin, and then Doc Ock, and then the third one was just out of hell.
My secret side I keep hid under lock and key. I keep it caged, but I can't